Alright guys, welcome back to the Diablo 3 build guide video. This one's going to be going over the Natalya's Vengeance, Reign of Vengeance, Fan of Knives build. It's going to be a strafe build, and it's going to be based around just grouping guys with strafe, and then whenever you actually get to like champion elites here, just fan of kniving to blow them up just like that. So I'm going to go into all the details of the skills and everything required, and show you exactly what you need to kind of get this build off the ground. This build utilizes the Fan of Knives proc really well, so just like on this Rift Guardian, all you're doing is wait for that stack, right? It's on 15, using Vengeance for damage reduction, and then you just, when you get the stacks high enough, you just walk up to them and blow them up. Alright, so going over the skills here for this build, we're going to be using Entangling Shot as our primary with Justice is served. This is going to increase the hatred generation to 7, which is going to be required to keep strafe up full time. Strafe, obviously, with Drifting Shadow, this allows us to maintain our movement speed. And then Reign of Vengeance with Athema, it's going to have a beast come up overhead and just drop grenades. Smokescreen with Special Recipe. Special Recipe is going to reduce the discipline cost so that we can actually keep it up more. We don't want to go dry on discipline while we're trying to move around and all that stuff. And then obviously Fan of Knives with Pinpoint Accuracy. This is going to give us 1600% weapon damage, which is our big damage dealer. And Vengeance with Dark Heart. Dark Heart's going to give us some damage reduction, right? Which we're going to need because we're going to be going in and out of mobs and all that good stuff. For our passives, we've got Tactical Advantage, Archery, and the reason we're using Archery is because with that second hand crossbow, we get 1 hatred per second, Ambush, and then Night Stalker. We're also using the Hellfire Amulet with Thrill of the Hunt on it. So with Thrill of the Hunt, Ambush, Archery, and Tactical Advantage, this 5th spot is actually kind of open. You can use Night Stalker, Perfectionist, or Single Out, or even Awareness if you want that cheat death. Alright, let's go over Paragon now. If you're not over 800, right, your Paragon is going to be in this priority. For your core tab, obviously you're going to fill up movement speed first and then stack everything into Dex. If you do have a survivability issue, you can split off into Vitality. For offense, right, you're going to go cooldown reduction, crit chance, crit damage, and then attack speed. For the defense tab, you want to go resist all, life, armor, and then life regeneration. In the utility, you want area damage, life per hit, resource cost reduction, and then gold find. Alright, now for your follower, you want to use the Templar because of his Inspire ability. This is going to give you hatred regeneration 1 per second. Everything else, you can get like charge, intimidate, heal, stuff to kind of help you support. You're going to get a lot more consistency out of this Inspire ability if you can get a token that's, doesn't let him to die, the immortality token. If you don't have the immortality token, when he does die, you will see a dip in your hatred as you're strafing through. And then obviously anything else you got in here, you can use the S of Johann, and also grabbing an Oculus Ring is probably not a bad idea either, as long as you're good enough to like get in it and get that damage bonus. But usually you're going to keep moving, so Oculus Ring isn't really, going to be utilized. Alright, going over the cube items. For our weapon slot, we're going to be using Lord Greenstone's Fang, and this is what's going to allow us to stack this Fan of Knives buff. And then when it gets to like 30, we can basically just blow up elite packs, champion packs, and even the Rift Guardian. So I usually save this only for elites and the Rift Guardians, unless I get in a really tight situation where there's like a lot of ranged mobs and I'm kind of taking a lot of damage from them. But for the most part, this is your main killer right here. For your weapon slot, you're going to use Aquila Karas. While you're staying above 90% of your hatred, you're going to get 50% damage reduction as well. And then Convention of Elements, we're using lightning and fire skills, so you're going to get a damage boost on the lightning and the fire cycle here. If you can time the lightning cycle with Fan of Knives, then you'll do even more damage. Alright, let's go over the gear, the items, the potions, all that good stuff, right? We're going to be using 6 of the 7 pieces for Natalya's, everything but the ring, right? And we want this because of the set bonuses. It's all going to buff Reign of Vengeance, give us damage, and also allow us to like really spam Reign of Vengeance about every 2 seconds. For our shoulders, you want to use Mantle of Channeling. This is going to allow us to get 20% increased damage and take 25% reduced damage while we're strafing. Hellfire Amulet, I mentioned before, gives us a 5th passive, and you want crit and some elemental damage on here. You're going to be splitting fire and lightning, so I have fire on mine. You're going to be Raps of Clarity whenever you're using Entangling Shot, then it's going to give you even more damage reduction for 5 seconds. And then Dawn in your offhand, which is going to give you reduced cooldown on Vengeance, so you can keep it up most of the time. There's a big one here, Hellcat Waistguard, right? You want this to have 5 bounces on it on Legendary Power, because this is going to allow the Rain of Vengeance rune, where it drops grenades, bounce a lot, and so the more stacks you have, or the more bounces you have on this, the more damage it's going to do over time. And then obviously you're going to use Focus and Restraint, the Bastions of Will set, and this is going to be prevalent whenever you're actually strafing, right? You're going to just, every 1 second or so, you're going to be using an Entangling Shot just like this. And that's going to keep Bastions of Will up, as long as you're actually hitting something. As far as your legendary gems go, you're using Taekook, which is going to increase your damage while you're channeling, while you're strafing, basically, and also increase armor for every stack. And then Bane of the Trapped is going to give you increased damage on slowed or movement impaired mobs, and also give you an aura that's going to actually reduce their movement speed. On this slot, you can either use Bane of the Powerful or Bane of the Stricken. I use Bane of the Powerful just because we're kind of elite hunting here. So once you get that first pack down, you can actually get a 20% damage increase. Also, you'll get a 15% damage increase versus elites, and take more damage reduction versus elites by 15%. For normal gems, you will use diamonds and everything. You need a lot of resistol for this because you're going to be moving through affixes and all that good stuff. So that's why it's important to actually keep Vengeance up as much as possible. Going over the stats for your gear, right? This is how what you need to roll at the Mystic, or what you need to look at for as far as items when you're kind of hunting gear. For your gloves, I tend to go crit cooldown, and then you want to also cooldown on your shoulders, and then also cooldown on one of your one-handers, usually your offhand. Dawn will usually has it by 10. Your goal here for cooldown is about 36 to 38%, which will allow you to keep Vengeance and fire off Rain of Vengeance about every 2 hits. And then on your helm, you want like resist all and crit. If you have a toughness issue, or if you can't really avoid damage all that well, then you can swap. You can, instead of having resist all here, you can have vitality. And then on your chest piece, you have Rain of Vengeance damage. On the Hellfire amulet, you want either fire or lightning % damage, and then like crit. On your Absolute Clarity, you want elemental damage, either fire or lightning, and then crit chance. On your rings, you're gonna be looking at things like damage, crit. For your main hand, I'm actually going on area damage, because you're doing so much packing of mobs and all that good stuff. And also this has Rain of Vengeance damage on it as well, which really helps. For your boots, you're looking at resist all, vit, and dex, and then you have armor on here as well. For pants, dex, vitality, and resist all. If you're Dawn here, I actually have crit or area damage as well. You're gonna get 50% area damage with Paragon once you max it out, but then you can actually, when you stack 24 and 24, you can get a little bit higher. So anything over like 50%, your effective DPS starts to scale, right? As far as your elemental damage percentage here, you're using Strafe is lightning, Entangling Shot is fire, and then you have lightning for Vengeance, and Fan of Knives, and then fire for Rain of Vengeance. So you usually try to split it down the middle. Like your big damage dealers are going to be Fan of Knives and Rain of Vengeance, right? So you need like pretty much equal boost to both. So like on my bracers here, I have lightning, and then I have fire on the amulet. So if you can get actually like 20% fire and 20% lightning on the split across these two pieces, that's pretty good. As far as potions go, you want to use, I use Bottomless Potion with the Diamond just because it has the resist all. So if you get into a tight situation, you can just pop the potion, get a little bit small window to kind of get out of certain situations. Now I'm just going to go quickly over like the interactions with the items and all that good stuff. As I mentioned before, in the cube you're using Greenstone's Fang, and that's what's going to be stacking this. And whenever you actually use Fan of Knives or you die or something like that, it's going to restart, right? You don't have to wait for it to hit 30 stacks to do a lot of damage, but that is going to maximize your damage if you're using it towards Champion Elites or Rift Guardians. But usually I probably wouldn't use this until you have like at least 15 stacks to be most effective. Alright, as far as the rotation goes, as you can see, if I just strafe here, I'm going to burn my hatred pretty quick, right? So instead of going dry, we want to actually keep this going. We want to keep strafe up as much as possible. So when I go into a rift, I'm just going to pop Vengeance, and then I'm just going to go into strafing, and then every like second or so I'm just going to be firing off Entangling Shot. It's not going to interrupt strafe, but as you can see, it's going to keep my hatred all the way maxed out. Now if you don't use the Templar, or you don't use this rune on Entangling Shot, you will notice that this won't really work, right? Because we're right there at the line. Now if you have a chest piece that doesn't necessarily have Rain of Vengeance damage on it, if it has like hatred regeneration, you might get even more of a cushion for this as well. Now if you need to move, or there's like a spot in a rift where there's no mobs, then I generally would just stop strafing and just kind of like displacement over and start strafing again. Because the important thing here is, the reason we want to keep strafe up as much as possible is because of the Taekook stack, right? That's going to give us armor, which means survivability. As you can see here, as we strafe and as we use Entangling Shot, we can just keep using all of our abilities. You just got to make sure you keep your timing for Entangling Shot and strafe, and that's going to keep Bastions of Will up and all that good stuff. I hope this video is helpful. If you try this build out, let me know what your thoughts in the comments, or if you changed it up a little bit to suit your playstyle or whatever. But that's going to be it. For more Diablo 3 content, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, visit us over on Twitch where we live stream every single day, and I will see you guys later.